Welcome back, everybody. Okay, you ever feel like you're living in an upside-down world that everything has just gone kind of crazy? I mean, it was less than a month ago that we were all in school looking forward to spring break. Some of y'all had trips planned, some of you had other activities planned. It was just going to be a fantastic time. And now everything has just been turned upside down on us. The verse that I want us to look at today is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. And it says, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. So again, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Now, we got to look at the Bible to try to make sense out of all this nonsense that is going on around us. But you might as well come right out and admit it. There are days when you feel as if you are the only sane person left on earth. You know, when you're isolating with your family, you may think you're the only normal one, and everybody else is going crazy. The good news is that you'll probably be able to handle all the craziness that the world will throw at you. And this COVID virus is not the only craziness that will be coming our way, because things happen. But to be able to handle the craziness of life, well, you probably handled crazy things in your life already. Okay, let's look at what some of your lives are like. You might have sports in the morning before school. I know that there's a number of kids up at the high school, especially swimmers, have to go swimming before school starts. Then they come to school. And then after school, you might have other sports. You might have clubs. There's going to be homework. There might be music lessons. There might be, oh my gosh, dance lessons, hula lessons, all of this. And there are many students that will leave their home before 6 o'clock in the morning and not get home until 8:30, 9 o'clock, sometimes later at night. And you already live a life of craziness. And so you're probably going to be able to handle this entire COVID thing just fine. You got friends and family that are there to support you through it. But in these crazy times, we need to have some type of a rock-solid framework for our lives that won't collapse with all the new things that come and keep trying to hit us. And that's why you have to make it a point to understand the Bible, because that's the one guide for living that has withstood the test of time, as well as every other crazy test that's been put through. It's equally important to clear up any confusion that you may have about God. For starters, just ditch the image of God being some cosmic Santa Claus, that he will give you everything that you ever want, all you got to do is pray for it. You know, I've had kids come into my office and they would pray together for things and say, well, it's in the Bible, you know, if two or more get together and pray for something, then God will be in the midst of them and provide it. And they're praying for like boyfriends and things like that, and it's like, no, that's not what that means. He doesn't just hand out gifts after checking his list twice to see who's been happy or nice. And he loves the most hardened criminals in jails just as much as he loves you and me, you know? And the difference between these hardened criminals and us, though, lies not in God's love for them, but in each person's openness to that love that he gives and how we respond to it. You also have to ditch this notion that God is some harsh taskmaster. I've known some kids that when they have very, very strict parents, they think that God is like that also. Always, you know, pointing out the things that they've done wrong, always just being kind of mean, super strict. God is not like that. God is a merciful, gracious Father who doesn't exact a penalty for every wrong thing that we've ever done. As a matter of fact, he gave his Son to take away the penalties of all those sins. And that's what we're going to be celebrating this Sunday at Easter. Make no mistake about it, God is no weakling. He is all-powerful, all-knowing, ever-present creator of the universe, and he is always available to you. He wants to help you navigate your way through this life by transforming your heart and your mind. You know, Romans chapter 12, verse 2 says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." We have a responsibility through all of this, and that is to make a connection between what we read in God's Word and what we find difficult, and to put those two together and find out and to get that biblical worldview. How does God desire us to react in situations like this? Now, as I says, things are kind of out of whack right now, but hopefully they will be back in whack, if that's even a term, sometime soon. Keep connections with your friends. Keep the connections with your teachers. Be helpful to your parents. Be loving to your siblings. And make sure that you pray for all these people in your lives and for everything in your life. Pray for our leaders and our government on our island, and just pray that God will give them wisdom. And we will make it through this all together. Now, go wash your hands.